So here you're going to be seeing a debate between, Cenk and Kyle and Jimmy Dore, and this is on Bernie or Bust. And kind of looking back at it, I want to know what you guys think, but they're going to talk about Bernie or Bust here. I've been on the record for saying that in the beginning, I was very angry. I said, Bernie or Bust, but I think that I support strategic voting. I say that if you're in a swing state, you should vote for Clinton, but if you're not, just vote for Jill Stein or don't vote for or somebody else or whatever. But yeah, tell me what you guys think.
Horrible things about her. She's not fucking Ted Cruz, and she's not Donald Trump, a lunatic with a ferret on his head who might have the ability to launch nukes. So, I don't know. I always struggle with this because my heart is overwhelmingly with Bernie, and I don't like Hillary Clinton. And in a million ways, she's done the wrong thing in her career, and her voting record's not very good. But you're faced with a choice on election day. But the thing is, there has to be some kind of punishment for not being a true liberal. And if people try to flip this back on me and say, well, Kyle, sounds like you're coming up with a purity test here. You're damn fucking right I have a purity test, because a liberal purity test is correct. It's not the same as a Tea Party purity test. Our purity test would be accurate. It'd be to be in favor of positions that make sense for the American people. So there has to be some kind of punishment for that. And in my view, I think the punishment should be something like, the base, many people in the base are going to stay home, and that's what's going to happen. And that's the price you pay for abandoning the base. So I would say if you're in a swing state, it sucks, but suck it up, hold your nose, and go do what you got to do. But if you're in a red state or if you're in a blue state, not only would I say, whatever, go vote for her or not, I'll just say don't vote for her in those states. I'm not going to do it.
What if every Bernie supporter voted in non-swing states and in red states if she got absolutely no votes? in red states, also, right? Would that be funny if she got no votes at all?
Well, she's got to get some votes in the blue states, otherwise she'll lose.
No, I'm saying if
but in red states, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, if you know that your state's going to go for the Republican anyway, and if she got no votes.
No, because we still want them to go to the polls, so let's have them write in an actual progressive. Literally, those words,
but
an actual progressive.
Remember, she won most of the red states against Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
So, in fact, she has a lot of more, I don't want to say conservative because that sounds political, but more traditional voters who are more of a Democratic Party loyalists.
Right.
Who would be happy, excited to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I love the idea of a traditional person.
But but Kyle makes a great point about and it's the same point that I've kind of been making, is what is the punishment for being a Republican in the Democratic Party? What is the punishment for being a neoconservative in the Democratic Party? Well, if they know they can count on our votes, then how are we ever going to get them to change?
So there's another school of thought here, and I won't put a name to it, but a person I know thinks...
Ben Makowitz?
No. No, I'm going in the opposite direction.
Oh, okay.
That thinks, that the Barack Obamas and the Hillary Clintons of the world are in some ways worse than the Republicans because they disarm Democratic opposition. Okay.
Give her Jimmy.
Yeah, that's Jimmy Dore. He's sitting right next to you.
But now the establishment is even more clever. And I really don't think it was on purpose, and I think it's in some ways the invisible hand of the market, right? Even a guy like me that understands this entire phenomenon and that thinks in some ways those neoliberals are worse, right? Well, I can't not vote for Hillary, especially if I'm in a swing state, because instead of an establishment Republican, now the proposal is a fascist like Donald Trump. Now you got no choice.
See, I disagree. That's totally wrong thinking, I think.
Really?
See, here's why. Because exactly what you said at the beginning, that only Barack Obama could cut Social Security. You think Donald Trump could cut Social Security? Hell no. George Bush couldn't fucking do it. So what I'm saying is,
in the meantime, he might invade Croatia.
Yeah. What's that?
But in
the meantime, he might invade Croatia.
Right.
You don't want to roll the dice on a guy like Trump.
Yeah, no, you can't roll dice on him, Jimmy, because it's not about, because he's not a traditional guy. A traditional Republican like Paul Ryan would try to cut Social Security, and he might not be able to do it. Hillary might be in a better position to cut Social Security than Paul Ryan. But Trump knows no rules.
Yeah.
He'll put the press in a cage,
the way it should have. If we had a Republican president when we had Occupy, it would have been a totally different story. I'm sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, yeah, but the thing is, with Donald Trump, like, I feel like oftentimes the worst shit that he says is the most underreported shit in the media. Like, they'll get mad when he said pussy in a rally. Let's all act like we're 4-year-olds. He said a naughty word, and let's cover that for a week. They get mad about shit like that, which I think actually helps him in the polls. But then there are other times where he comes out and he says, as he did once quite literally, that we should torture, quote, even if it doesn't work. And then he was on Fox and Friends one time, and he said, we should target civilians in the Middle East. We should kill the families of ISIS, not just ISIS, the families of ISIS. And that stuff gets underreported. But basically, what we have in front of us is a guy who is promising half the time to just out and out commit war crimes. And then when he's sitting down with Anderson Cooper and they're doing an interview, he doubles down on that and he triples down on that. This is the kind of stuff that, you know, it drives me crazy, but Cenk is right. They set up this choice where you have no choice and you're forced to vote for somebody else who's also arguably a war criminal, Hillary Clinton, because, you know, she's slightly less crazy than this, again, buffoon with a meerkat on his head, or a ferret, or whatever animal I used.
Yeah, well, so here's part of my answer. I will, you know, if it's Trump versus Hillary Clinton, that's not a hard question for me. I'll vote for Hillary Clinton. And then I will fight her every single day.
Yeah.
And I have no qualms about that. I don't think that's even a tough question. Like,
but Cenk, you're in California, so you don't like have to do that. You don't have to vote for Hillary.
Yeah, but Kyle, I view that as meaningless, right? So on principle, you vote for the person I think you would have voted for, right? So it's okay. People can live in California, can vote for Jill Stein or somebody else, and assuming it's a two-person race, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, I'm going to vote for the person that I would have voted for in a race that mattered. Okay, but that's immaterial. What's more important is who, like, in a race, in a general election race, I will make the argument on the show that Clinton is better than Trump because that is what I believe. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me give you one more argument here. I'm not arguing, you know, the polar opposite of what your point is. I have what I think is, you know, a middle ground on this issue when it comes to what we should do in terms of Hillary. So the argument to not vote for her in deep red states and deep blue states, and the most compelling one to me, comes down to moral red lines. Now, again, I'm only talking about deep red states and deep blue states. You happen to be in a deep blue state, so, hey, you know, you can do this if you please. But the idea is, like Jimmy alluded to, she has to earn our vote, and she just hasn't earned our vote. And there are things that she's done that they're just flat out inexcusable to any liberal and any progressive. She voted for the Patriot Act. That got rid of the Fourth Amendment. No more habeas corpus. No more due process. She was for NAFTA and for multiple outsourcing deals. She lobbied for TPP 45 times. She supported the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which repealed Glass-Steagall. She just came around to gay marriage in 2013. Guess what? That was not a hard one to figure out in 2012. She voted for the Iraq War. Her position on Israel-Palestine is the exact same fucking position as Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, she promises to make the same mistake of Iraq in Syria, which is crazy. You think we would have learned, hey, don't topple the strong man in the Middle East because then something worse is going to come up out of the ruins. Now she's saying, let's do the same fucking thing and topple Assad and do a no-fly zone and escalate with Russia. So the bottom line is, you know, the people who support her, especially if they support her and they actively choose her over Bernie, you're just wrong. Like, it's not a question. It's not a matter of opinion. You're just incorrect. You have to come to terms with the fact that you're center-right if you're somebody who actively picks her over Bernie when you have a choice for Bernie. But at least in my mind, I think of a vote for Hillary when you don't absolutely have to do it, so you're not in a swing state. A vote for Hillary by choice in a deep red state or a deep blue state, I think of myself having to explain that vote in front of a fucking international tribunal. We're all there because, hey, the person you voted for killed a minimum 200,000 civilians in Iraq with her stupid-ass vote. That's how I think of it, and I draw some moral red lines.